Hello, I'm Mary McCullough from Magical Moments Designs based in South Carolina. As an artist and a teacher, the Bristle Rake Fan from Low Cornell is absolutely one of my must-have brushes in my brush caddy. As you can see, the Bristle Rake Fan is made from synthetic bristles and is shaped like our traditional fan brush, only narrower. The bristles are constructed in such a way as they will separate, allowing the artist to make multiple fine lines with one stroke. Asa Niemanen from Ontario, Canada, helped design this brush and paints lovely landscapes such as this project which he designed, which you can download from the Low Cornell site. The brushes are great with oils, with acrylics, and with watercolors. So let's get started and see how the brush works. Painting landscapes is great fun for beginners as well as advanced artists. Before we actually start painting our landscape, let me share with you some tips that will make using the Bristle Rake Fan much easier for you. 1 will be the consistency of your paint. 2, the manner in which you hold your paintbrush. And 3, the amount of pressure that you use when you're painting. Now, we're going to start using our brush to build a bank of trees back here. My brush is dry. I have not thinned it with any water, and my acrylic paint is straight from the bottle. So I'm going to start with the lightest green color. I'm going to load the brush on both sides. You can see that I'm holding back on the paintbrush handle a ways, and I am going to use a fair amount of pressure because I want an opaque coverage of my paint on here. This is going to be the foundation on which we're going to build a forest of fir trees. Now, I don't want everything all the same size in height. I'm stroking upward because we don't want our trees to look like they've just been trimmed. So we want a nice uneven background on which we can build our tree trunks. There's no reason in the world why we have to thin the paint, so I'm going to clean my brush simply by wiping it off, and then I'm going to side load it with some of this darker paint. Take the time on your palette to get it on just the side of the brush. And where there might be a trunk right here, I'm going to be working from left to right with the corner of the brush. Right to left. Right to left. First one. Here we go. Sweeping right to left, right to left. At the bottom, your branches are wider. And going upward, upward, they get smaller and smaller till I get right to the top. And I'll make a little top to my tree. I'll immediately come down, now going left to right. Short strokes, and then they'll get a little bit longer as I come down to the base of the tree. And we have one of our trees in the forest started. I'll wipe the brush, come back and reload it. Still picking it up just on part of the brush. This one I'm going to start up a little bit higher so it looks like it's farther away. And I'm going to start right here with just a small stroke, going upward, upward, and just giving the top to the tree. And then coming back down again, left to right, left to right. And there I have a tree that's a little farther away. And let's put a third one in. It's all right if our trees overlap each other. If they cuddle up, they run into each other because the forest is just thick with fir trees. So again, working right to left in a sweeping motion, coming up, 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 paying no attention to what I run into, and tipping off that tree, coming back left to right, left to right, left to right, and getting bigger as they come down at the base. And I've started what would be a background trees. These would be back in your picture with your clouds behind them, and you would begin to build a forest. Now you see a very brown mark right here. This is a tree trunk that's been already painted in because I would like to show you how you might do one of your foreground trees. So let's start with a lighter green paint. If you want to clean your brush, you can, but I enjoy working with a dirty brush to get lots of color and value. So I'm going to load this brush up. It's still dry paint. It's not thinned. And instead of going up or swinging left to right, I'm going to use it on the side of the brush in a dragging and kind of tapping fashion. And then I'm going to tap over this way. Okay. And then I'm going to wipe the brush and come back into my dark paint and use the same horizontal tapping, dragging motion. And I've lightened my pressure to establish some more fur trees on my fur. There we go. Now if you want to clean your brush, you can, but it is not necessary. I'm going to start with my lighter green and make another area of branches up here. This will be a little smaller because it's higher up. Go across the trunk, dabbing and dragging, dabbing and dragging. Okay? Wipe the brush. Come back with some darker paint. Lighten your pressure. And just dab and drag, dab and drag, dab and drag. And if you were playing with your real landscape, you'd probably go with a lighter color and you'd have highlights and everything. You'd have a great, great foreground tree. Alright, now this brush is very versatile, so let's find out what happens when we change the consistency of our paint. Right now I'm going to take a little bit of water and I'm going to thin out my darker paint to a rich consistency, about like ink. I'm still way back on that paintbrush handle. I'm going to lighten my pressure and I'm going to start an upward motion. And since this Bristle Rake Fan has been constructed like a rake brush, you'll see that it makes those individual lines and I get the look of grass. If I just lay the brush down and take out the moisture and get back into some little bit heavier paint, I can use a horizontal motion to kind of set that grass down and add texture to my foreground. So you can see there are so many things that you can do in a landscape with your Bristle Rake Fan. Now I'm a wildlife artist, so there are things that I like to do with it, and that would require my thinning the paint again to make fur. I could be making tiger fur. And I could be doing his stripes right now, his darker stripes. I might even be able to do a Santa beard. Thin that paint a little more. And just to see what it looks like when we come back with another color for our tiger. So now I could add a little bit of light color over that dark, and you can see how we could really begin to build fur with our Bristle Rake Fan. I hope you'll enjoy using your Bristle Rake Fan and join us on the Low Cornell website where you'll be able to download project sheets to paint at home or share with your students and pick up all kinds of tips and techniques for using our specialty brushes.